Hey, Stoney. I know it's been a little
How are
bit.
you? It
uh,
has been. It has been.
I think, what, maybe a month and a half or 2 months?
Almost 2 months. I think we did it back in. I think the exact date was October 17th. I'd have to take a look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, month-ish. But how have you been holding up in these past few weeks?
I've been doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, since we last talked, it's been pretty much, more or less the same, just kind of still quarantine life and still,
Hmm.
going to work, coming back,
Right.
doing artwork, and then playing video games, pretty much.
Yep.
I
How
mean,
would it? I was gonna ask about this. I don't know if it's okay to bring it up on the podcast. So that's why I'm asking you now before you start. How did that court thing you had to do, where you were walking your dog and
oh no,
some guy was like,
that's totally fine to discuss on the podcast. I mean,
okay,
TLDR, you were right, like what you mentioned last time. It's just yeah, it's nothing. Just waive it. So, when I was in the court, it was so weird. It was a court Zoom call. It had 50 other people with different
right,
cases of speeding tickets or criminal charges or whatever. And I get a Zoom call text message from one of the, I guess, the staff members or a lawyer or whatever. He says "Oh, your name such and such." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, we dismissed it. You're good." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, okay."
hmm,
So I spent like 3 weeks just waiting and stressing over it for nothing.
yeah. I'd assume they would have just thrown it out the window since it was it was such a lenient law in the first place. It's like loitering, no one ever gets 20 years in prison for loitering.
God, I hope
And
not.
it's
You know what?
it's
I
one of
wouldn't.
those just
Yeah. I
it's a
would not
fantasy
put
crime,
myself I would not put myself beyond getting caught for doing something stupid like that.
right? It's like
Um
jaywalking. It's a fantasy crime. It's just one of those things that everybody does it and cops normally just don't care. But there's always just the one cop
yeah.
who's a little bit too big for his britches. And he's like, "Hey, I've had this is my sixth Red Bull and I'm feeling pumped. You're getting a ticket."
Yeah, and I got to meet my quota or whatever.
Hmm.
That's kind of how it's been, honestly. Wait, I'm going to take a swig of my G Fuel. 1 second.
Oh damn, you got the sponsorship yet?
No.
Oh,
It's honestly just my pre-workout cuz I actually just take it for just doing gym stuff cuz I still try to keep up with exercise every day.
oh yeah.
So
Exercise is very important.
yeah, so right after this podcast, I was like, oh, it'd be a perfect time to just chill and chat, and then just warm up, and then do a couple of weight lifts, and then I'll get
Mhm.
back to art tonight, if not play video games, pretty much. So yeah, nothing that's what I'm so bummed about because I want to talk about places I've been and things that I've done, but it's been pretty much the same. It's driving me nuts.
Mhm. Oh, don't
Um,
worry. I might have some stuff to bring up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would love to get into stuff
I
and
can always help out.
honestly
Yeah.
just catch up. Cause I even my social life has been really just kind of meh. I can only
Hmm.
be so vested in the online space because I love, hanging out and doing fur meets and conventions and stuff.
That's what VR chat is for.
Yeah,
You get a headset and everything, and
yeah,
you
Blarg's
can get
super
one of
into
those
that.
suits where it vibrates to touch feedback and shit.
That's gonna blow up for furries. Not gonna lie.
Oh,
That's
100%.
yeah.
Both for just oh yeah, I just so it's more realistic and yeah, I'm horny. Give it to me now. Here's $5,000.
Yeah,
Just
I need
mail it
the
straight to my fucking house.
I need the adult version where it's like a suction cup on my crotch. That's all it needs to
Yeah.
be. Well, yeah, yeah, I've seen that vest. It's got haptic feedback and it's got gloves and stuff, and you can feel the little pinches and stuff.
Hmm.
It's crazy, but I don't think I'm personally there yet with VR. I'm okay with just
Right.
VR chat with my Oculus.
Right. Just to
Uh,
think though, I don't remember what the first VR headset was, but I remember like the first commercial one that you could get was for the Sega Genesis, and I think it was called the Sega Activator or something like that. And just
Activator.
going from that to like Oculus, like the DK, and then DK2, and now we're on the Rift S and the Quest 2, and we had Vive, and now we have the Index.
Yeah,
it's just like, man, that's an insane leap in like technology.
And even like well, like it's really cool because like the Oculus and the Oculus 2, the reason why they're so successful is because they got like mini PC, like basically that like mobile PCs on the headset. So it's it's tetherless, but you lose a bit of fidelity. But like what HP wanted to do, and I was talking about this with Blarg on like one of the past TreeBark episodes covering like some tech news, and HP is gonna like make a little like a legit mini desktop PC backpack, and you're gonna be able to trot around with a PC on your back with a battery bank. It's pretty nuts.
And I was wrong. The Sega Activator is something else. So the VR headset that came with the Genesis, a picture of it. This is the Sega VR, and it came out in like 1992, I think.
That looks like it was straight out of Star Trek. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Wait, that was from 1990s?
Yeah, so Japan had it in 1994. The UK got it in 96, and Australia got it in 1997. I don't see a release date for the US.
That legit looks like it's like a very modern version of like what's to come. It's pretty much that already.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty dope. I like that.
It's pretty. I really like that. I like that aesthetic it kind of has, where it still looks retro, but it still looks kind of modern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much what the Valve Index looks like. You got the over-ear headphones. They totally called that. Yeah, overhead band, and it's pretty slim too. Yeah, it's not chunky. But would you like to hop into this podcast episode interview?
Sure, let me get a backup file for you real quick in case anything screws up.
Thank you. No, that saved my butt so much. All things seem to be good. I have a new setup on my side. I like added an additional monitor, and a monitor arm for my drawing tablet, and I reconfigured all of my wires, so everything seems chill on my side.
Right.
Because speaking of PCs, how was your motherboard? You mentioned you had problems before.
Oh my god. Just talking about it gives me PTSD. So are you big into IT?
No. I could barely keep up, but I can listen. I don't mind listening.
So I have an Intel board, which is already like a big middle finger to any person who games on PC, because Intel was in its prime back in like 2016, and now they're like flatlining in garbage. One second, I'm gonna sync real quick so that way.
No problem.
Perfect. Now we're synced. Okay. I don't know if you need syncing for the video, but I'll do it for you.
Oh, do you record video on your end, or?
No, I just assumed that I would assume that you need syncing, because there is like, you do have like an image like overlay for the video, right?
Yeah, so like what I do for the show, it's really easy on my end. Like the only real effort that I put into it, besides like a little bit of audio touching up, like if there's a lot of dead air, or maybe like I'll up the bass of the voice, I just draw the art, and then I put the art on, and I just drag the whole image across the whole audio file, and it's Gucci. It's fine.
Epic. All right, I'm gonna resync real quick. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, motherboard. Oh my god. So, I have an LGA board, and the difference between LGA and PGA, like layman's term, is it's just the LGA is the pins that connect to the CPU are actually on the motherboard itself, and PGA is the pins that are on the CPU itself. So, like, out of like the thousands of small little pins on an LGA board, you only need like, you could break off like 4 or 5 of them, because most of them are ground pins, and it won't really screw up anything. So that was the issue I had. I ended up breaking like 3 ground pins, and then 2 pins that did RAM directory. So I have 2 RAM directories. One is like A1 and A2, and then I have B1 and B2. And my entire B directory is just dead. So I used to have 16 gigs of RAM, but now I only have 8 gigs of RAM.
Because wait, was it slotted wrong? What was the issue?
No, it was so. I have no idea. Intel. That's the best thing I could say.
Was it a software or is it like a hardware issue?
It was a hardware issue. So I had to. Yeah, I sat for about several hours going through, trying to figure out what pins that broke off, what they did. And then I finally figured out my computer wasn't booting up, and I said, okay, that's a RAM issue. So I went and looked at the RAM.
Oh, gosh.
Took out the RAM and put one RAM into one individual slot. It powered up. Next slot, it powered up. Next slot, it didn't power up. And then next slot, it didn't power up. So that told me that B directory was dead completely. So I only have A1 and A2, 8 gigs of RAM in total. So.
Oh, so you lost some RAM? Oh.
Yeah. But it still boots. It still plays games decently, as long as they were made before, like, I don't know, 2016, where it didn't really need a lot of RAM.
Yeah, so
but,
you gotta run kind of like more minimal like loads.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ah, shucks. Yeah, maybe if I have some components or something, I could totally like send it to you.
No way, would you actually fucking do that?
Yeah, I mean, if I got something left over, I could like hit you up and say like, oh, do you need like, I don't know, like an old PC or something? I mean, yeah, that like sucks. Yeah, if you're
thing anybody has ever done for me, legitimately.
Because sometimes I do like I mean, I do like upgrades every once in a while, and I'll be like, oh, I'll just ask my friend, do you need this? And yeah, like if I don't have a use for it, and sometimes like it's not worth selling. Sometimes, and I'd rather have somebody I know like get good use out of it, you know? Yeah, so I'll poke you.
God, I feel like the shipping for that though, from Hawaii to Michigan, I don't know how much it is,
I mean, that'd probably be expensive, but I don't know if you get good value out of it.
$40 maximum, because I paid $60 to have something shipped from California to Michigan. So
how much was that?
More, maybe like 70 or 80.
Was it big?
Oh yeah, it was my first suit head actually.
Oh, nice. That is something. Okay, before we get into that, let me just okay. Are you good? Are you cozy? Are you comfy?
Hold on a second. Have you recorded? Have you started yet?
Yeah, but I'm ready to hit the intro, and I wanted to, since you mentioned the first you had, I do want to get into some of that.
All right, hold on. I'm going to get you some ASMR. I have a cold brew with me here. Let me go. Nice. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead with that intro now.
Okay. Hello guys, and welcome back to TreeBark. And I gotta admit, it's been a hot minute since my last interview, but actually I have a special guest, Stoney Hyena, and I was on his podcast, and now we're flipping the script and I'm interviewing him for the show. Hey Stoney.
How are you?
I'm doing all right, and I just wanted to kind of just treat this interview / podcast episode as just like a nice catch up, because it has been a little while since we did talk. And honestly, like, I'm not saying, like, we were just talking about a bit about earlier, was that like not a whole lot has happened in like the given like month and a half-ish that it's been since we've done your episode. But yeah, I figure we can get into a little bit more about your side and your perspective of things, you know, in the fandom and whatnot. And I'm gonna press the hard questions to you later.
Alrighty, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. And well, actually, you know what? In on this special occasion, I didn't usually do this, but I think in post I will be adding some comfy music to the atmosphere of this episode, because I really did like your episode, and I re-listened to it a couple of times, and I like the kind of cozy feel you get when you add the background track.
You know what's funny about that? I have the 2 other episodes I did with Rashoni and Cooper Tom. They both got copyrighted claim, so I had to. I literally spent like 2 hours trying to look for like bar, like jazz lounge bar kind of music, you know, for like a couple hours, and I eventually found one that was non-copyright, and that was the one I used for when I interviewed you. And so far, it hasn't gotten claimed yet. So
Oh,
hopefully,
okay, that's good.
hopefully it's golden.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I always kind of, I don't know. I'm very wary when it comes to walking around those kind of things, because I'm like just an independent creator, and I don't rely on like YouTube ad revenue or anything. Like, it's all from either like commission freelance work or Patreon. So, even if you don't like put ads on your videos, can they still copyright claim you?
Yes.
Oh.
It used to be a little bit different back in like the early days of YouTube, not like 2005 to 2006, but maybe like 2010, 2013, where if you didn't collect any ad revenue, you technically could put copyrighted music into it.
Oh.
Because, you're not collecting revenue from it.
Yeah, that was my
that's why
thought.
back then, if you know how I'm pretty sure you've been on YouTube and you've seen like lyric videos, right, where they have the actual song and
Yes.
it's not claimed.
Yep.
That was because the song itself, or not the song, but the video itself had just no monetization for it. So it's I don't know the exact term, but it would most likely be called like open source, or like,
Yeah.
not royalty free though, because if it was royalty free, then he could have gotten monetization from it.
Yeah, and that's the whole weird thing too, because like copyright claiming is so like kind of like fucky wucky, to put it like simpler. Like, you don't really know where the gray line is about a lot of the things that like are open source or like in public domain. And like that's the thing. When I feel like what's so great about podcasts is that you're able to stream like anything you want, because you're not like beholden to any like one platform or company or something that's like gonna copyright strike you. I mean, unless you're directly profiting for it, because I kind of treat, the podcast talk show like just an open radio kind of thing. So it's not really like you're, I guess, profiting off of just one like song that you're claiming as your own or anything,
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's an odd thing to get into. I used to be kind of into that, like, the legal side of how like music works and how the music industry works. Because as a musician, I want to put out albums for people, to listen to. And I remember just going through it, just reading, like, it's like a 200 paragraph like long document of
crap.
just like shit stacked on top of shit, and you're like, I just want to like make an album.
Can I just like share my music? Yeah. Can I just make something cool and riff for a bit? Well, so yeah, I do remember that you did mention that you were into music making, but I didn't ask or anything of like specifically what it was. Like, what I mean, okay, this is gonna be me just kind of spitballing here. If I had to guess, do you play something in the form of guitar?
Yes, you are very correct.
Okay, I get that vibe from your Sona.
Too, but guitar is like the like number one thing that I didn't go to school for it, but I spent 12 years playing it. What do you
enjoy about the instrument or the music about that? Like, why did you pick that?
It's really it's so simple. Like I understand, like, people, they go to pick up a new instrument and they're like, well, I want to play trumpet, or I want to play clarinet, or I want to play piano, and they play it for 5 minutes and then they get irritated and then they throw it away and forget about it. With guitar, it really is, as I just said, open source. Like with the music, it really is open source. You can do anything on a guitar, and I kind of like that mentality with guitar. There are so many genres of music that you can use for a guitar, where like if you were to go to like, I don't know, like a trumpet, and most people would think like, oh, you like classical or like ska music,
Yeah.
But with a guitar, you could, even with piano and guitar, it's a very like wide library of what you can do with it,
But isn't that
that's why I picked it.
That's so funny too, because like when I think of instruments, I'm kind of like plain Jane. Yeah, I did a little bit of piano back in middle school, I'll have you know. And I could play you I'm Blue Dabu Dee Dabu Die. But when
I fucking love that song.
but like when it comes to guitar or electric guitar, it's not something that I come across at like, like Bandcamp or something. Like, it doesn't seem all that common. It's a very like independent kind of like, I'm on my own kind of rogue music journey. And is it kind of like that for you?
Yeah, so the reason why is because guitar is so independent. primarily because there are so many different ways you can play guitar, and not every one guitarist is going to sound the same. They might have a different way they pick, they might have a different way they play notes, they might have a different way they tap, bend, you know. That's why I really like guitar, because it's not something that you should go to a class. You shouldn't pay like $12,000 to go to college to learn guitar. You should put blood, sweat, and tears and learn it, because it's an amazing instrument.
That's where the best music comes out, though, right? From the, like you said, like the blood, sweat, and tears. Like that's like more like the pure essence of like getting your emotion and your heart out, kind of thing. Yeah. So, really damn, you've been playing for 12 years?
Well, it was I think it was back in 2009. I'd have to do the math again.
Has that, like, getting into the fandom, like, to relate it to the fandom, has, like, that music been, like, shared amongst, like, any communities or, like, niche communities within the fandom for you?
Well, I have a SoundCloud, and I do have both a music video that I did for one of my songs and a lyric video that are up on my YouTube. So it is open to the community, but I've never actually, like, shared it with the fandom. Like, not that I know of. I've shared it with friends. I've been to parties where I'd like perform the song live and stuff like that. But
oh, sick.
You know, I've never actually took the time to share it with the community.
That's like, it's so foreign to me. Like, I'm a big like artist. I'm big on like art creation and being creative in general. Like, what is music creation to you like when you're gonna make something? Like, is it with lyrics or without, or how do you start?
Well, it first starts out with about 3 bottles of whiskey, and then I start, like, and I pick up my guitar. I'm like, I'm gonna make a song today, and I start writing it in like Google Docs, and then I forget about it like a week later, and then I look back at my Google Docs. I was like, I fucking wrote this. This is horrible. All right, let's make a song out of it.
Minus the whiskey, that does sound similar to like a couple late shifts at my day job sometimes after work, writing down some like poems that I thought I could like put together in a song or something.
Yeah, alcohol just removes that like block, like, oh, no one's gonna read this, no one's gonna do anything with this. It just removes that ideology, and you're just like, you just asses and elbows all in. You're just, let's do it.
That's what I like.
Hit me, you know.
Yeah, because when you start off with like, oh, I don't know if this sounds good, or does this word work with that word, but no, it's like, oh, screw it, I'm just gonna put out whatever, and then you have something to work with at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very. I actually am kind of upset that I didn't that I picked up music and not drawing, because I put all of my years with an art medium into music, and I really wanted to go into drawing because I love drawing, but I am so shit at it.
What? Well, what was the? I mean, there must have been some sort of calling or something that you looked more into when it came to the music, then, I guess, right?
Yeah, everyone on my mom's side of the family all was like a big musician, whether it was piano, violin, guitar, drums, bass. So, and I kind of just got that like gene from my family. It was already music.
It was already more in your upbringing then, I guess, like to be kind of more musically inclined.
Yes, that would be 100% accurate. Yeah.
Did you have like a punk rock band in like the basement or something kind of phase, or doing that now, or some kind of aspiration for that?
So the music that I listened to when I was an emo, edgy little 12-year-old who probably watched, I don't know, like PewDiePie or some dumb shit on YouTube. I was probably listening to like 3 Days Grace or some or like Breaking Benjamin, and then I never really actually outgrew that phase. I actually still listen to them. I think they're amazing, but I started getting into more of the older rock and roll, and then I had an uncle introduce me to a band called Pantera, and I remember hearing the guitarist. His name is Dimebag Darrell. He actually was assassinated live on stage in 2004. Yeah,
somebody shot him?
Tragic thing. Yeah, someone shot him.
Wow.
Because he left the band in 2000 and formed a new band called Damage Plan.
And the fans just would not have it?
Yeah, well, it was just the one fan. His name, that fan's name was Nathan Gale, and he went up in 2004 to I think it was a nightclub in shot him
Damn.
dead. Yeah, it was a really sad event, but I
Yeah.
remember just hearing that guitar and how much emotion was put into the guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and like I was just like, that's who I want to be. Not dead, but
No.
I want to play guitar just like him.
You know, I mean, it takes to a whole new level, doing what you love, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so like I do have another friend too who is kind of in a similar like I want to say like yeah, creation, like where one of my buds, he was from the South and he joined a band and was doing a bunch of like lyric making and stuff, and then they broke up, and then he's still very into like a lot of like the deep lyrics that go into like metal and punk rock types of genre. Like, are you big into writing your own music, or is it more of just like guitar like?
Oh no, I do write my own music. I never really record vocals as much though, because I have an Audio-Technica AT2020 USB mic.
Mhm.
So if I had an XLR mic, I'd probably try.
Oh,
But
for
with a USB
like better
mic,
quality.
it's this fucking thing sucks. I actually have like 20 different audio interfaces like open on my computer just to make it sound decent.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, you sound like basically you're in the room. That's what I've been pretty lucky with most people. Like, that's the whole thing I feared too. Like when doing like, I mean, big trade secret here. All of the interviews and podcasts that I do are basically online and through Discord.
What? You just surprised me, dude.
You're not.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, Stoney's not 2 feet in front of me at a desk. I'm sorry, I broke the illusion. But yeah, like you sound fine. You're running the audio through like 20 filters or something.
Yeah, so I have it running. Through Voicemeeter. I don't know if anybody knows what Voicemeeter is, but I have Voicemeeter Banana, and it's basically a mixer. And then I have this mixer running through Carla, which is an actual interface. So right now I have a thing that so that the audio doesn't peak as much and stuff like that, and it levels it out. And then I have another thing that's a noise gate, and I leveled it out properly. And then I actually have it hooked up to Guitar Rig with like a little bit of compensator, like a little bit of compensation.
Oh wow.
A little bit of mids, a little bit of treble, But yeah, it's a shit show. I hate fucking with this thing.
It's working. I don't know. You got whatever you put together. It's working like pretty well. Related to like the punk vibe that I get from just your display avatar, like featuring your fursuit head. Like, it's immediately not what I see typically. Like, cute and fuzzy is basically the norm in the fandom. But you have like this immediate death presence and stuff, like with the skull of your hyena, Sona, and stuff.
That's the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me.
No,
Thank you.
I don't. It's cool. I love all the different aspects of what people like enjoy about expressing themselves. So yeah, like it tunes in very well with like your personality and the mood that you kind of want to give out, and I can vibe with that. Like, so can I ask, like, what is the Stoney origin story?
Oh boy, this is gonna get depressing real fast.
Oh no. I mean, okay.
No, I'll go ahead and talk about it. I don't give a shit. So so I remember when I joined the fandom back in 2009, I of course was every other kid, unoriginal. I was Sparkle Dog, his name is Starfire, It was like that too, or the gay fox or whatever the hell.
Oh wait, did you just pick something run of the mill to begin with?
Yeah, I picked something run-of-the-mill to begin with, and then I kind of remained dormant for a while because I didn't actually know what I wanted to do with the fandom. And then I remembered that, like, shit, my life's pretty tragic. Let me put that into a character. Take all that negative that was, shot up through my life, and I think I want to put it into like almost a negative, or not the opposite of what my life was. So I took everything that was negative in my life, and that's just the skull, right? That's that skull, and that's what that represents. And then everything else was fuzzy, and then, big ears, I turned the negative into a much smaller thing, and then the positive, is what I really tend to focus on. Even when I'll be in Discord calls with friends and I'll put it on and I'll like fuck with my mic and I'll be like, I'll bite the pop filter off and shit like that, and they laugh at it. It's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started out as a negative, and then I just made it the opposite and turned it all into a positive. And I'm very happy with my character, how he is now.
How did So, I mean, yeah, kind of like you, I did actually not end up being the Sona I started out with too, because I was kind of plain Jane, but I was a little unique in the way that I didn't choose like a fox or like a dog or anything. I chose a snow leopard. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of unique or whatever, but then I go into a chat room later with like 3,000 other snow leopards, and I'm like, oh, well then. Felt a little less special. But they're still nice. Snaps are still very cute to me. But then I eventually, like, as like my art career kind of went on, for some reason I just got more and more into like, you know what? I do like dogs, and I'm very unashamed of that, and I'm just gonna go with a dog Sona like everyone else. Mm-hmm. But I gave him little triangles on my cheeks to differentiate myself. But like, what was the choice for you to go with like hyena? Was that a specific thing, or was it like, forthright of you to choose that?
So when I was in high school, I was very loud. I was the class clown. I labeled myself as the class clown, and a lot of teachers labeled me as the class clown. But I was more of the class clown that nobody wanted. So I'd just be sitting in the fourth grade. I'd be sitting in the back of a class, make like a fart noise, and nobody would laugh at it, and the teacher would just pick me up like, hey, don't do that. I'd be like, oh, okay, sorry,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. But yeah, so a hyena, it was from it was a recommendation from a friend, because at the time in high school I had a dragon Sona who I actually liked a lot. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of disassociated from it because I wasn't really happy with it, and then a friend recommended to me, you should be a hyena, and I was like, why is that? And I shit you not, he looked me dead in the eyes and said, because you're fucking crazy. And I was like, I like that answer, I'm gonna write it down.
Oh, I was actually expecting, because the whole ha 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 like laughter kind of thing, like, did that like have...
literally, it's because I'm like comedically crazy is the term I use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to reference like hyenas. Because are you familiar with like the Hyena Agenda brand? They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I almost bought a shirt from them last year, but I second guessed and was just like, nah.
I like their brand though.
They don't sell the shirt anymore.
It's pretty sick. I like some of their designs. But anyway, sorry, back to But yeah, so I guess that's not, I like how people come to understanding themselves and then like putting that into the character that they're sharing with other people. I mean, that's way different from what I did. I was just kind of like thinking about, oh, I like cute fluffy things, like, okay, cool, I'll be a cute fluffy thing, but not really think about like, oh no, this is gonna represent more of my like kind of brooding, like deep nature, it's super personal, and that's why sometimes like I learn a lot more just from like asking about people's Sona rather than my plain Jane answer of being like, yeah, I like plushes or something. Right. So that's really touching, actually. What are some contrasts that you've realized, like, being a furry compared to like your non-furry standard life?
My standard life sucks. It's so boring.
Yeah.
The life that I have, this is gonna sound so cliche, but the life I have behind the mask is just so much better,
The life you've had behind the mask. Is that a metaphor, or do you mean literally now?
Literally behind the fursuit head.
Oh, okay.
It opens a whole new world. It's almost like a camouflage, really. Like I can not only can I be myself, but I can be 100% better. I can be more energetic. Where when I have it off, I'm just like, yeah, it's me. I'm going back to the gas station to work my 9 to 5. Oh well.
That is pretty interesting, though. Like, I do hear like a wide variety of like talking to other furs where it's like, yeah, I have 5 different Sonas, and these are all different like characters based on my personalities. Or some people are just like kind of in the same camp as me, where it's like, no, my song is basically me in and out of suit or whatever. But I do like that like performance aspect, like you were talking about, where when you do don the suit, it's like, I'm here to kind of entertain, or, you know, be a little bit more like energetic in that way.
Right. It really is like a camouflage, and it works wonders too. The only thing that sucks though is because my character's appearance is a little bit more scary. So like
definitely, yeah.
I went out to a fair once with it on, and this mom wanted to take pictures with her kids next to me, and the kids were they did not fucking like it whatsoever.
The little ones are harder.
Tail the ass out, their ass out of there. They were,
because you're big.
Unfortunate.
You're very like toothy, and you have fangs, and it's like very like. Just like I guess it is because it's not like immediately. Maybe if they saw you from the back of just your like big floofy ears and stuff, then you turn around and then
what would suck about the turnaround, it's like a jump scare.
Yeah. You know? I've once seen I've once seen there was a fursuiter who also has that skull aesthetic, but they also have this like magnetic clip-on. I don't know if that's how yours works.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I know who that person is. They're very cool.
And the clip-on is just for folks out there who don't know, like it's like a faux face, and it just like it is like the regular like cute and fluffy, but then they can like knock it off, and then like the jump scare ensues.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's amazing.
So, kind of running on with that, like how, I know like for you as a musician, like did that kind of develop into the fandom, or like how is that a meaningful like part of your experience in the fandom? Because I know would you still be doing, in other words, like music as a quote unquote normie, or like did that propagate because of furriness?
Yeah, I think I would probably still be doing music even if I wasn't a furry, because music was just something, it was in my family, so I just carried on that tradition, you know, and I enjoy doing it, and it's fun. And it's hopefully I want to get a job with it, because it's something that I'm super familiar with, and it's just, you know, I'm a good teacher, so it's, you know, it comes easy. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I would probably still be a musician even if I wasn't in the fandom. The fandom never actually was linked to my music background whatsoever, because I was pretty, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I was pretty musically gifted growing up, you know.
No problem. And, like, yeah, if you
yes, yeah, it was you know, I don't know, that's actually kind of a really hard question. I don't know if I would like keep pursuing it, or if I would like give it up at age like 20 and then just like, I'm gonna work my desk job for the rest of my life, you know.
That's a very like close to home like statement. Yeah, because on one hand, I think like I'm definitely like similar. Because pursuing that creative career, and this is what I like to ask anybody who's also doing the same. Like even when I had the chance to interview Blue before, shout outs to Blue Dragon.
God, he's so fucking hot. Sorry, I had to say that. He is one sexy motherfucker, let me tell you.
He is, yeah. And he does the whole makeup thing too, and like puts himself out there, and that's very like inspiring. Do you have like similar aspirations, or like do you have people that you look up to that are pursuing that sort of career, and like how do you navigate that? Because that's what I always want to kind of get into when I have a chance to talk to you or these other people, because I don't think that it's always like in the light when people see other creative success, and they don't see like the kind of grind that they're going through. So like what has that journey been for you like so far?
Well, sadly, I don't have any modern like people that I look up to. I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to music.
You're such a boomer. You're such a Zoomer boomer.
You know? Yeah. So a lot of the people that I looked up to are either 6 feet under or in their 70s and just don't perform anymore.
Actually, sorry, go on. Sorry.
One of the, like I said before, one of the bigger influences I had was Dimebag Darrell, because he was just such an amazing guitarist. And, you know, people like, not only him, but, you know, people like Eric Clapton, Eddie Van Halen, they were all great musicians. And that also that's only touching guitar too. I play other instruments too. For drums, I mean, there were so many great drummers like Neil Peart, was an amazing drummer. For vocals, Lane Staley of Alice in Chains was an amazing vocalist. Chris Cornell was an amazing vocalist. And even bass, like oh man, I'm totally pulling the stereotype where nobody knows any bass players. The bassist from you can't remember. Les Claypool from Primus is an amazing bassist. Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is an amazing bassist, you know.
And yeah, I get that's really interesting because like you say that you're referencing these people who are either dead or, you know, long gone. And like, but the thing that inspires you, it sounds like, is just their work and how good it was anyway. And that's like kind of their legend. So
yeah,
I definitely feel some of that, at least in like, to draw some parallels in my art career, where it's like there's Norman Rockwell or like Andrew Loomis books, and they're like people who were very, very astute like people in their field, and then they wrote books that I now read about like the very fundamentals of like what it is and how to get better as an artist.
Right.
How, I mean, I don't know what it's like to connect as a musician actually. Like, do you want to talk to other musicians or like form a band or like, I don't know. I'm trying to feel like, for me as an artist that draws, I need to have some sort of hub to like draw with other people or something, you know?
So with this is just my opinion on it. With art, with drawing, form of art, as drawing as an art medium, it's way more open. You could be a person who draws, you know, cute little animals, you know, happy trees and everything, or you could be the guy who draws, you know, hardcore porn, whatever.
Hell yeah.
And you can still connect on an individual level. Where with music, if like a blues musician is never going to connect with like a metal musician, or like a rock musician is never going to connect with a jazz musician because their styles are so different. I still would talk to like people who play different styles, but to answer your question, when I was younger, I wanted to be in a band, but now thinking about it, like, man, my music taste is just so out there, and it doesn't really match up with anybody that I know who's local to me.
No, that's the hard thing too. Yeah, also finding people that's not only into the same thing as you, but like they're I don't know what it is, but like they want to also pursue what you're pursuing and maybe learn from each other, and like the chances of that being like within your proximity is really hard.
It's one of the hardest things about forming a band, especially when if you lived in like New York City or like Chicago or like a big city, it would probably be easier because there's so more people. But when you live in like buttfuck middle of nowhere, it's hard to talk to other people.
That's sometimes how I do feel too. Like as this like creative, it's like I know there's other people around me, kind of like the same way that you search for furries when you first find out about the fandom. It's like they gotta be out there, and it's like I just have to find, you know, the right platform in 3/4 so I could step through that wall. And like I guess that's what Telegram and like a bunch of like Twitter has helped me with, discovering some local furs. But like not only finding the local furs, but now finding like a niche group within that niche group to sort of like vibe with and then create cool stuff. Like, yeah, I've talked with like Paradox too from Furcast, and one of the things that he's mentioned too before was like geography was his biggest bar. Like it's the hardest thing to overcome because we have to come together to like help and like celebrate each other and like, you know, like create cool stuff. And I guess, I don't know if I should make this transition already, but like going back to like COVID and stuff, because it seems like that's all that anybody can really talk about, because that's all that's happening, is like it makes that geography issue that much more like exacerbated. Like I don't know, it's just crazy. Sorry for that weirdly long tangent, but
no, it's fine. I completely get what you're saying. Another thing I would also put on that is it's not only just geology that would probably be, or not geography. I don't know why I said geology. Another thing besides geography is also like our current economy too. Like,
how does that? What you mean?
Expensive.
Yeah.
You know how expensive plane tickets are. You know how expensive it is just to like I'm from Michigan, and if let's say I wanted to go to Anthrocon, so I go, okay, I gotta go get a plane ticket to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You know, and then I gotta get a room, and then I gotta buy this, and then I need like $200 to spare to purchase things like
Yeah.
art that I see and stuff like that. A lot of it is it's geography and money. That's like the two biggest issues. And now with COVID, that's now a third issue that's being labeled on to the already existing issues, and it's a shithole right now. But it's just one of those things where I guess you just have to find a workaround. That's why I like going on to VR chat and like talking to other people, because it gets past that, it gets past the geography, it gets past the money, and it gets past the COVID,
because it's even like, if you have a computer and if it's like just good enough to run even desktop VR, and if you have a mic, then boom, what do you have to worry about? Like just the electric bill, I guess, and internet. So yeah, that's true. VR is more important now than ever, like we were talking about just before the show started. I do see VR still developing and like connecting more people, and I think I owe at least like a third of my friends now to like VR chat specifically. And I don't know, I think, well, just side note, I think eventually, like, I don't know if you've seen Cooper Tom's like streams from his VR experiences, but like he runs a pretty cool talk show just from VR chat. That's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually I don't know if it's his map, but he had a map that was like an actual talk show too.
Yes, I don't know if it was his, but I did see that Periscope live stream before. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, but on like the first one that he ever did, I was there because I recently had him on my podcast. And, me being a little asshole, I was fucking around. I was plugging my YouTube channel in.
Yeah, I gotta get the word out.
Screwing around on it.
Yeah.
I was having fun though. I was making them laugh. We were having a fun time. A bunch of other people joined in.
With the whole like we're talking about traveling and going to cons. I know that since you create music, you create like you do interviews as well. You're putting out art essentially out there. What is like your side of consuming art actually? Like, are you a fan of comics? Are you a fan of like the independent like commissions that you can get in the fandom, or maybe outside relating to, I don't know, anime or anything like that? Like, what is your love interest with art, if you have any?
Oh man, that's a good question.
I am jaded because I am an artist, so I will press you against that. Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually have commissioned art in my entire life in this fandom whatsoever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane.
How could you?
I don't know. I'm poor, man.
No problem.
Yeah, but I guess music is just one of those things that I can use as a coping mechanism. The other things that I use as coping mechanisms weren't really art. They're more of just like hobbies, like I love working with computers, especially older computers. I love working with that. I'm a big tobacco connoisseur. Ask me about any form of tobacco and I can tell you if it's good or not. I can tell you what goes good with a certain brew. I was just, man, I guess music is just the only other art form that I consume. It's one of those situations where I make it, but I also take it into, I take in my own music sometimes. I'll go on my own SoundCloud and just be like, man, that was really good. I should do that again sometime, or
no,
I'll go on YouTube and
I totally get that part too, because like sometimes when I do an art piece or a painting or something like that, I'm like, damn, how did I do that? And then I have to like pick apart the file in Photoshop again and like look at like what I referenced and stuff. I'm like, I did that, damn. And then I try to learn and stack stuff on top of that. But like, to what you said about like consuming art and then also going and doing your own art, that's that like highlights a huge part of like being an artist, and then still like trying to stay in the kind of flow of it, because I feel like if I don't consume more art, I definitely won't put out more art.
Right. That is a completely like accurate statement too. If you don't take in, it's like driving a car. If you don't put gas in your car, it's not gonna fucking go. You need to consume stuff in order to make stuff, because you need that reference. There's no way you can become the next greatest musician or artist without having a reference, unless you're like Jesus or something.
No, I know, totally. Jesus whipping out like Monet or Bob Ross paintings or something like that.
Yeah.
I know. No, it's so important. I'm so glad like you said that, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say that before, and it sometimes goes against like the mainstream of like thinking that I do that thing too that kind of dips into like the artistic like burnout, when you only see like, wow, these amazing artists are putting out like I don't know, freaking masterpiece after masterpiece, and you're like, wow, why can't I do that and stuff, and then you realize like I'm sometimes consuming more than what I'm putting out there. And then that's the thing I try to balance. And it's very hard. It's a very personal kind of journey that you learn naturally, actually, if you still want to pursue that thing, you know?
Right. It is a very, it's a very important aspect that you should have on life.
And it's,
and you should live.
It goes
live
to
live to the most.
Yeah. And it goes to show like, I don't know, you gotta be like open to creativity, because when I feel like I'm only like even trying to work like a machine to put out commission after commission, it's like I keep like putting more and more of myself out there, and it's making me more and more thin. But then I sometimes have to pedal back. And then do you ever like, you're like, okay, I just gotta chill out, and then I just have to like kind of what's it called, like not reassess, but like reestablish like my roots or something, you know, like why did I come to go and start this drawing journey or music creation in the first place?
I do. In fact, I actually have on my computer still to this day the first ever song like I ever actually wrote and recorded onto my computer. It sounds fucking hideous.
Are you able to share, if I can ask?
Like send it via Discord?
Oh, I don't know. Can you play it on the show? I don't know. I don't know if that's a tall order.
Oh shit.
Whatever you would be happy or comfortable with sharing. I could. No, even this.
No, it's so bad. It's so cringy. Trust me. It's not even like, I'll play it, but I'm telling you that it's not going to be pleasant.
What if I play it at the end of the show, or I could link something at the very least? Would that be okay? Or is it or I understand too if it's more of like a personal thing, like sometimes like artists also have like, you know, like little diaries or like personal sketchbooks that the world may not see though.
Sheesh, it's so bad. I'm so flustered right now.
No problem then.
Maybe I'll hit you up after it. Maybe
Ooh,
I might be able to fuck with it a little bit, because right now it's like there's so much. There is like no mids in the recording whatsoever. It's just bass and treble, and it's more treble than bass. So it sounds like it sounds like if someone took like a default like Xbox 360 microphone and then stuck it in like a paint can, and then closed the paint can and then tried to sing into the paint can. It's so horrible.
Oh snap. Okay. I mean, no, that's.
And I tried to do shit where I would like, I'm gonna duet my own song, and I'm just gonna, and I didn't know how duetting actually worked. So instead of doing it how it's supposed to work, I just instead went up an octave. So my voice is like cracking constantly, like it was not good. Is
a duet like where you're supposed to kind of like harmonize with yourself, and then it creates that kind of more like big room type of feel?
Yeah, that's normally how a duet works, but it's so fucking bad. I can actually send you I can't send you that one, but I can send you a more recent one that I worked on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Actually,
anything, to be honest.
If you want to use it for the outro,
that'd be sick. Like, yeah, I would love to share that and like let everybody give that a listen. That'd be really cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, besides like pursuing your musical career, or more of the, actually no, I didn't ask you yet. How has your like interviews been going? How has that whole situation been, like in the weird 2020 that's been this year, been like? What is Stoney's agenda, or what is the Stoney venture?
Get someone to at least reply to my email.
Oh, emails are hard.
The hardest thing.
Yeah.
I think I spoke about it with you on my podcast, where I said like one of the hardest things about running a business is not having like a foot into the door and how
Yeah.
it actually works. So, and because this fandom is so lenient, you know, it's very hard to actually send like a business email to someone who is just like a vlogger, you know. Like, for instance, I sent an email to Majira Strawberry. I hope he actually sees this episode. And he asked for references. And one of the biggest things they teach you not to do in email etiquette is send links, because that's like
Really?
the easiest way you can get your email hacked and everything. Yeah, it's a big thing. That's like the first thing they teach you in email etiquette. Don't send a link.
Oh,
Ask
okay.
them to send it on like a different platform, like Telegram or Twitter. So I messaged him saying, like, or in my first email I said, if you want references, I need a Telegram. And he insisted on sending it via email, and I've never gotten a respond back. So I'm pretty sure he just threw it out the window.
That is definitely.
It's fine, though. I understand completely.
That's definitely really hard, because I too don't really know how to gauge what the professional level is, because I guess if for a person who is more of a creator in like the full-time sense, I don't know if Majira is or any of the other really like top like consistent creators, but when you're running that kind of like tight schedule of always putting out stuff, putting out products, creating new video ideas, etc., like, I guess maybe you have to be a bit more professional. I mean, like, compared to my strategy, it's just like, yo, what's your DM? Here's a YouTube link to my podcast channel or whatever. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'll give it a listen. And then if they don't like it or not, then they just tell me. But so far, I've been pretty fortunate. Yeah, I don't know. Do you really need clout? Or, I don't know. I like to think that it's more personal, you know?
Listen here,
What's up?
I need as much clout as I need. No, not necessarily. I was just raised like, which is funny because I don't act like that in real life. But when I'm doing things that involve like putting a lot of effort in, and it involves getting in contact with other people, I was always just taught to be very formal, you know.
It's a little more serious, yeah.
Business aspect, yeah. Where. Yeah, I wish it was just as easy for me to just say, yo, what's your DM? Like, at someone on Twitter, hey, what's your DM? I'd like to ask you if you'd like to be on a podcast. I have a couple references.
Or no, if not,
I just always grew up sending emails. It goes back to that I'm a boomer mentality. Like,
I'm okay.
You know?
Just as a little bit of like, so you don't stress yourself out, I'm willing to say at least if you can get a DM to somebody, even without like asking them first, like just saying like, hey, what's up? Here's this thing I do. Would you like to be a part of it? Just as my personal recommendation. You don't have to listen to it or not. Like, at least getting them to acknowledge your DM or to get a hi or like a quick a quick like, just oh, I like your work. Yes, you know, like get the kind of thought out there. I think that's what's most important, actually.
I was actually really fortunate that Cooper Tom even read my DM, because we met in a VR chat game and he seemed really cool and I didn't know who he was at the time. I had to do like 2 seconds of research and I found out, oh yeah, he's the cat in that cursed birthday picture. So I DM'd him on Twitter. I said, hey, listen, it was a fun playing VR chat with you. I was actually wondering though, I have a podcast that I run. I would love to have you on. And he was down for it. He really was. He seemed like he really wanted to do it. And I was just super like thankful for that.
That's the thing.
Like, most heartwarming thing ever is just acknowledge it, even if they don't do it. Like I'm still waiting for I messaged actually Sherbert Shenanigans and asked if he wanted to be on the podcast, and he said he would. He said he would like to, and he asked for some references, and he asked what the podcast was, and I said, well, it's free form. There's not really a set thing of topics. It's not really an interview. It's more of like, I have you on as a guest and we can communicate.
Yeah, and I like that very...
really down for it.
Yeah, I love that very casual nature. Like, it's so weird, too, because since I consider this fandom like a bit of a outlet to just be who you are, it's like, well, why do I want to put on a business suit to sort of just, you know, interact? I just want to say, hey, rar, X3, you know? Like,
yeah.
Can I boop you for something? Like,
yeah.
And more often than not, yeah, you'll find that creators just want to create something, and it's like, oh, I got some downtime, especially with COVID. Sure, let's make something. So that's been pretty sick, and I think, yeah, you know what? Speaking to that whole thing about like being busy and like making stuff, I have a personal vent right now. I'm sorry that you have to listen to it, but yeah, okay.
It's okay.
So even with like having all of the time you need to like do your creative endeavors, I could always take on more commissions. Why am I not putting out more comics for my patrons and stuff like that? I put my Patreon on hold because I felt like I just need some time to myself to think and then organize what things that I have to do. Like, sometimes it's not really the burnout that got me. It felt like I just kind of had to not do something for a while. So it's kind of hard for me to parse into words, but like right now when like nothing's happening, kind of going back to like when, you know, like we mentioned, like you gotta consume art to make art. I felt like I wasn't really consuming a whole lot of art, and I was just focusing on like, what do I do with all my free time now? Like, it's been so difficult for me. And actually starting back up this interview, it's been really helpful.
That's why it's always good to have more than just one hobby or more than one art medium.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
for sure.
I am not just, you know, music. You know, I like working with computers. I'll fucking stare at myself in the mirror and make funny voices and then laugh at myself because I'm a fucking weirdo. You know,
aren't we all? I mean, I don't think it's. You know? I don't think that's legal to be in the fandom if you're not. To be totally honest.
Yeah, you know, but you know, you have to find other things that you don't need to consume a reference for. You don't need that reference. You have to find things where you can just kind of do it.
Mm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big welcome to Stoney's life lessons.
No, that's really important to hear because I don't think I've ever really been directly told that, because like do things that you're not like, because my brain has been so warped sometimes about like I gotta meet this commission date, I gotta generate some revenue. Like I'm not thinking about the art anymore, and that's been like a real problem.
Right.
Like so just to do something just for the sake of doing something, sometimes I get kind of neurotic about. So yeah, I think I have to meditate on that a little bit longer.
Yeah, actually, my buddy who's in the National Guard, his drill sergeant told him this: when shit hits the fan, embrace the suck. You know, just
embrace the suck. Oh god.
Yeah, just fucking.
That's true.
Ass elbows forward, bro. You know, just get it done with. Once it's done with, you have all the time in the world to think about other stuff. You know.
Yeah. That's true. I have to learn to embrace the suck. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not as harsh as that, but in the military I would assume it's more harsh than that. But that's what my buddy told me, is his drill sergeant told him to embrace the suck and just fucking trail forward. SUCC,
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no, thanks for that. I honestly kind of needed to hear that. Thank you, Stoney.
No problem. That'll be $20. No,
shit. Little did you know I'm also poor. No, but yeah, I don't know. I guess just kind of I need to just kind of like chill out, or I guess like kind of recoup or something. Because do you ever have those moments where it's like you get these highs of like being super productive and you're just like in the flow kind of state, and then
that dopamine rush where you're just like, there's nothing that could go wrong, and then what sucks about those states is that there's always the one part where it's like you have that dopamine rush. You're like, I'm gonna get shit done. I'm doing so good, and then just one like minor inconvenience, like I don't know, you dropped a paperclip on the ground, and it's the end of the fucking world.
Sometimes that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, I always try to push myself. When it comes to YouTube and the podcast and music, I always push myself. But you know, it's funny. I end up pushing things that I care about more than things that I actually need to do. So I actually remember the first job I ever had, it took me like 2 years just to get it, because I was more focused on like YouTube and music and all of this other stuff that I didn't even bother like, oh yeah, I have to fill out an application.
Oh yeah.
I want to go drink a bottle of whiskey and make a new song and then forget about it.
I hate to interrupt, but speaking of drinking, I gotta go pee. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta go pee. The G Fuel has gotten to me. I'll be back in like a minute, I swear.
Okay. Do you want me to entertain your audience while we're not?
You can still talk about whatever, or maybe I'll cut the dead air if you don't want to, but I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. Hey, it's your boy, Stoney Hyena. Listen here, if you're watching this podcast, let me tell you something, all right? You should subscribe to this man. He works so hard, and he makes art. Commission him. Even if his commissions are close, you send him a message. Hey, I will give you this amount of money to draw me something. I will send money to your Patreon. Fucking, subscribe to this man. Support him. He's a hardworking boy, and I feel like I should say do it. Hard work. That's what matters the most. Send him some love. Send him some comments. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to his Patreon. Ask for commissions. Literally anything, bro. He works really hard, and that's that's the end of my PSA. Subscribe to. I forgot what the channel. Shikakubo. I want to say. I'm very tired. If you couldn't tell. Hopefully he comes back soon. So I recently started watching this TV show called Designated Survivor. It's pretty good.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry about that. I am back, everybody. Gosh.
That's
No, I legit was like, I think I drank one whole hydro flask, and then I drank the G Fuel, and I was like, oh my god, I don't have a gamer bladder. I can't gamer this out.
just get a sock.
The sock doesn't. The sock is porous.
Just no, you gotta solidify that shit.
Oh yeah, I gotta get a cum sock.
Yeah, I guess so. Covered in Flex Seal, just like
for that massive damn. Oh god. Pro gamer tip: get a cum sock.
Get a.
Then piss into it. That's how you game for longer, gamers.
Instead of getting tap water, go to your grocery stores and get those 2-gallon things of spring waters and just piss in those, bro.
Don't
nothing can come in between you and the game, okay?
That's a promo. Yeah, you should make a gamer bladder, like a gamer bladder bag. For those long sessions. I think that's what truck drivers have actually.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
A gamer catheter.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
You get an IV for nutrients so you don't ever have to leave the VR world.
Yeah. You go to stand up. You stand up a little too fast because you're just relying off of watered nutrients, so you have no iron, so now you have an iron deficiency.
Oh god. And then
stand up too fast, Bravo 6 going dark,
Yeah, you get lightheaded and woozy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that reminds me of Sword Art Online. I don't know if you've ever heard of that anime.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never watched it, but I've heard of it.
It's basically that future where it's kind of like the apocalyptic, where everyone's just in a video game. It's pretty crazy.
Right.
I guess the Matrix, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with.
You ever
what's up?
There's this manga that I'm currently reading right now. It's super good. I've already finished the anime, but I want to read the manga.
Oh, what is that?
It's called The Ancient Magus Bride.
Oh.
It's so good. I fucking love it. It's not like your Naruto or Bleach or your really action anime. It's more of like a story developed kind of anime. You kind of have to pay attention to all the characters, but it's so good. I love it.
Is it a really long format kind of manga, like One Piece or something, or has it just been kind of recent?
I think it is actually pretty recent. I think it came out in 2017, and I kind of got into it kind of late, but it's really good. There's this really cool, very cute character that I love to death, and I wish we were married because he's literally the sexiest man alive.
Well, give me the rundown. What's the whole story?
Okay, so the story is it's a world of magic and everything, and there's a character named Chise, and Chise is in this universe. She is what's called a slay beggy, and it's a person who can see magic naturally, right?
Okay, the Wizarding world or something.
Yeah, they can like see magic naturally, and they can see like creatures and ghouls and goblins and everything. And she gets put into, like, I don't want to say slavery, but that's basically what it is. She gets put up for an auction, and this man named Elias Ainsworth buys her, and he teaches her the world of being a magus, learning magic. So that's basically the entire premise. So it's very fun.
She has like this innate ability, but she doesn't have it quite figured out. So she gets this mentor or master, I guess you call him. Yeah.
Well, if you want to get into the lore, it's supposedly it's gonna be her husband.
Oh, spoilers!
It's the ancient mage's bride. Yeah.
Is that like considered
spoilers.
a mahou shoujo kind of thing? I'm not too familiar with the manga space.
I'm sorry. What?
Isn't that what it is in Japanese? Mahou something is like magic.
I don't know Japanese. I think so. I don't know.
My weeb level's too low. I don't know.
I only know like two things: a katakana and hiragana. I don't know any kanji yet.
Yeah, that sounds like me. I studied Japanese for 6.5 years. I guess I should know. God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of manga,
I just know that in their alphabet they don't have L's.
It's R's. Like yes. Correct.
Yeah, so the phrase la li lule lo is just gibberish.
Da,
so if you've ever played Metal Gear Solid and you're wondering why they say la li lule lo, is because Japanese don't have an L in their alphabet.
Nope, you gotta roll the R's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading actually, yeah, kind of recently I got into this one manga too. This is just a little manga book corner here. No Guns Life. Have you ever heard of that?
It sounds oddly familiar.
Imagine a dude who's like jacked, but his face is a giant gun.
All right, sounds hot.
Yeah, basically. No, yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of also like not utopia, dystopic, and you have this world where after like this big war of modified humans, they're like cybernetically enhanced and stuff, and then like there are these soldiers from that war that are kind of obsolete, but you have this one rogue dude, and he's the gun face guy or whatever, and it's pretty sick. He also has like for a ponytail, it's the handle of the gun, and you can like pull it, and he shoots a bullet from his face. But he's like this detective, and he solves mysteries, or not mysteries, but like he helps people out, you know, kind of like in a noir style. And he's since he's a detective, they call him the Resolver. So that kind of gives you like a little hint to like what it's kind of.
It's like Revolver.
It's funny. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah. I like it though, but it's got some action. It's got some like kind of, I would say, bland like overarching themes of like, yeah, the government's bad and stuff, and they're being very controlling, and they got like an experiment, and they want you to like hide the secret of the experiment, and then you have the detective trying to tell the truth and stuff and figure out what's going on. It's pretty run-of-the-mill, but I would totally recommend No Gun Life. So far I only have chapter 1, but it's pretty good. Yeah,
it sounds nice.
Yeah, I don't get to talk manga with that much people, but yeah, I would recommend No Guns Life. And what was the one that you were talking about? The
Ancient Mage's Bride. It's really good. I'll send you a picture of the character who I think is really hot and sexy, and he's just amazing. He's a honk, let me tell you.
Oh, I'll check it out. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go work out soon. Well, I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, like, what are you looking forward to, at least, if not at the end of this year, Stoney? What's to come for 2021 for you?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm looking forward to a vaccine or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I probably should have. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Definitely a COVID vaccine. I don't know. Maybe new music.
Right on.
Maybe, hopefully, a VR headset, and I'd fuck around in VR chat. You know?
Oh yeah, we can hang out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly like just hanging out with friends. I need my social life back.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe going to a con or two. That'd be really nice. Because as far as I know, conventions aren't happening till at least like 2022. So let's get that vaccine as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all set and I'm ready to work out. Unless you wanted to mention anything last minute.
Yeah, hey, you should go subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Hell yeah, give all the plugs. I will link all of Stoney Hyena's information in the description below. And yeah, check out his content, guys. I hope you've learned a little bit more about me and Stoney Hyena. And yeah, what else would you like to plug?
My Twitter, at Stoney Hyena. I post stupid shit there. I have an Instagram too. I'm pretty sure it's also at Stoney Hyena. I can send you the links, and it'll probably be in the description.
Go check out Stoney Hyena. I don't even use Instagram. I should use Instagram. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I hope you guys have a lovely evening or morning or night whenever you're listening to this. And
oh, you know what I just realized? I started a new recording. I never synced the audio. Hold up. Okay, now you can continue.
Okay, cool. You can sync it to the end. Yeah. Thank you, Stoney. Hopefully I won't mess up this recording, but I'll definitely let you know if I do. Gosh.
Okay.
But thank you. No, thank you for like the wisdom and like the kind words, because I think that I think a lot of people, including me, have needed that to get back into the saddle.
If anybody wants any wisdom, if you want any more wisdom, just DM me, bro. I'm the fucking wizard.
If you need some whiskey wisdom from Stoney Hyena,
yeah.
Check out the links in the description below. And thank you for listening to TreeBark. Okay, thanks, Stoney.